Let's do a quick revision of important topics of chapter 6, and the name of this chapter is life processes. As you see, there are the few processes of life, that is the nutrition, respiration, transport and excretion in plant and animal. So these topics will be covered in this video. And first of all, what are life processes? The processes which together perform the function of maintenance of life. For example, in the food we eat, that is the nutrition, the breathing of the air, respiration, and how the blood transport the energy from one organ to another, transportation, and the waste material when it is coming out, that is excretion. All are life processes which help us to maintain our life, so they are called life processes. And now first of all we will discuss about nutrition. What is nutrition? It is the process of taking in food and converting it into energy and other vital nutrients required for the life. And mainly nutrition are of the two types. There are the two modes of nutrition. One is autotrophic, other is heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic, you can make a table for differentiating it. It's very important topic. Organisms which can make their own food using simple inorganic material like water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll are called autotrophs. You are very aware about the plants, because plants make the photosynthesis process and they prepare their own food, and other examples are algae and cyanobacteria, which are in the category of autotrophs. And what are heterotrophic nutrition? The organisms which cannot produce food on their own and depend on the other sources and organisms are called heterotrophs. For example, parasites, ticks, leeches, saprophytes, mushroom, and holozoic, human beings and the dogs or other animals. So these are heterotrophic nutritions. Now what is photosynthesis and which factors affect photosynthesis? It can be explained in the three stages. The first stage is chlorophyll present in the leaves trap the light coming from the sun. So what is the function of leaf? The function of the leaf or the chlorophyll in the leaf to trap the sunlight so that photosynthesis process can be occurred. Second is the absorbed light energy gets converted into chemical energy, and water absorbed splits into hydrogen and oxygen molecules. The third one is at least carbon dioxide gets reduced, hydrogen molecule combine with the carbon to form carbohydrates like sugar molecules or glucose in the form of star Ch.6, that is glucose. Usually the chemical reaction equation occurred in the photosynthesis. This is 6 carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll in the leaf. All these things combined together, they form starch and release oxygen. Oxygen is very beneficial for the human beings and other animals, and it is the waste product for the plants. So this is the chemical reaction occurring in the photosynthesis process. Now nutrition in amoeba. In the nutrition in amoeba is a single cell organism, and how it takes food and release release their excreta. Amoeba feeds by holozoic mode of nutrition, and it takes food using pseudopodia. The process is called ingestion. This is the food particle and this is pseudopodia, and this is the nucleus, and this process is called ingestion. Intaking of food by the amoeba is called ingestion. When the engulfed food gets enclosed in the food vacuole, this is food vacuole, it is engulfed by the amoeba, and as the food vacuole passes through the cytoplasm, this is cytoplasm, then digestion occurs, absorption occurs and assimilation takes place. And when the food vacuole, this is the food vacuole, when it opens, then open to the outside, then undigested food, ejection of the indigested food takes place. This is called ingestion, means the waste product is injected out from the body, ejected out from the body. And this is the process taking place in the amoeba. So do the practice of this diagram and label this diagram and how this process occurs. Then keep in mind by doing this. Now the next one is, this is about the nutrition in human. Now nutrition in human is called the digestive system in human, and digestive system in the human contain has an alimentary canal and digestive glands which together functions to nourish the body. First of all, what is alimentary canal? Animal canal starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. And esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine are the parts of the alimentary canal. So the longest organ in the body is alimentary canal. Next is mouth. It is the opening of the alimentary canal and help in ingestion of the food. The buccal cavity has teeth and tongue. Set of teeth helps in breaking down the food. Tongue helps in tasting and swallowing the food, as well as the salivary glands open also in the buccal cavity and pour saliva which contains salivary amylase. Very important, keep in mind, an enzyme to break down starch. So saliva contains an enzyme, its name is salivary amylase. And what is the function of salivary amylase? To break down the food into starch, and the amylase starch into maltose. This is the function of salivary amylase enzyme present in the salivary glands. Next one is esophagus or food pipe. Esophagus, the swallowed food pass into the esophagus or food pipe. It is muscular tube in which food is pushed down by peristaltic movement. Contraction and relaxation movement is called peristaltic movement. Now, where the food come? That is the stomach. Stomach is thick-walled bag-like structure, and the inner lining of the stomach secrete mucus, hydrochloric acid and some digestive juices. Enzyme present in the stomach is pepsin, and in the gastric juices which breaks down protein. Hydrochloric acid help in digestion of the protein and also kill the harmful bacteria. And mucus secreted by the walls of the stomach helps in protection from hydrochloric acid. Now next is the organ is liver in digestive system, and liver secrete bile which is stored in the gallbladder, and bile emulsifies the fat into smaller globules, and this process is called emulsification. And lipase is the enzyme which acts on the emulsified fat and break down into glycerol and fatty acids. So you should remember what is the function of liver, which enzyme is present, what this process we call. So you have to keep in mind, and how this lipase converted the emulsified fat into glycerol and fatty acids. Now the next organ is pancreas. Pancreas secretes many digestive juices or enzymes, and its secretion is called pancreatic juice, and enzymes are trypsin, lipase and amylase. These are present in the pancreatic juices. Now the next one is small intestine. Small intestine is the longest part of alimentary canal, about 20 feet long in the humans, and internal surface of the small intestine is folded just like finger-like projection that are called villi, and they increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. The digestion process gets completed and absorption takes place in the small intestine. This is the function of small intestine, and the end product of the digestion are carbohydrates are converted into glucose, fats converted into fatty acids, glycerol and protein into amino acids. So this type of the process takes place in the small intestine. Now the function of large intestine. The large intestine is not involved in the digestion of the food or absorption of the nutrients. The major function of the large intestine is to absorb water from the remaining indigestible food matter and make the stool solid, and the waste is thrown out of the body through the anus. So this is the function of large intestine. Now there are the few questions on the basis of this summarization of this paragraph. First of all, you can study this figure. This is the tongue. Here is the buccal cavity. Mouth and tongue included in the buccal cavity. This is food pipe. This is called esophagus. Here is the stomach, and this part is pancreas. This one pancreas. Here is the gallbladder, and this is the largest part of the body, that is the liver, and liver bile duct which contain bile duct. Small intestine. This is small intestine. This villi-like structure. And the outer one is the large intestine. This is appendix, and this is anus. So alimentary canal starts from the tongue to anus. So longest part of the digestive system. So this is about the digestive system. You can do these questions on the basis of digestion or nutrition. Now the next process, life process, is called respiration. What is the respiration? Means exchange of gases, breathing in and breathing out. At the cellular cell, respiration means the burning of food for generating energy needed for the life process. And respiration may take place in the presence of or absence of oxygen. So on the basis of presence and absence of oxygen, it is categorized into two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. When the cellular respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen to produce energy is called aerobic respiration, and it takes place in multicellular organisms like plants and animals. But when the cellular respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen to produce energy, and it takes place in the smaller organisms like yeast and which helps in fermentation. That is, process is called fermentation, in which sugar is converted into alcohol. Now respiration in muscles of human being, how it affect our body or how this process carried out. Respiration in muscles can be anaerobic when there is not enough oxygen. Glucose gets broken down to carbon dioxide and lactic acid, and this result in the accumulation of lactic acid that result in muscle cramps. Now you have to remember this diagram, that is the glucose having 6 carbons, and this process takes place in cytoplasm, and 6 carbons are divided into 3 carbon, that is called pyruvate and some energy. Now this process takes place in 3 form. First of all, absence of oxygen, which is occurred in the yeast, and this pyruvate is converted into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Second is lack of oxygen in our muscles. When we do maximum practice in a day, then some lactic acid is produced in our muscles and energy, and that is the cause of cramps in our body. Next, pyruvate in the presence of oxygen, which always occurs in mitochondria and convert into carbon dioxide, water and energy. This is about the respiration. Now human respiratory system. What is the human respiratory system occurs in the human body? First one, nostrils. The inner lining of the nostrils is lined by the hair and remains wet due to mucus secretion. Mucus and hair help in filtering the dust particles out from the inhaled air. Now, what is the pharynx? It is a double tube structure which continues after the nasal passage. Larynx, this part comes after the pharynx, and this is called voice box and Adam apple also. And now the trachea. What is the trachea? This part comes after the trachea is composed of some cartilage, and cartilageous rings prevent the collapse of trachea. It means it continue the fill the gap of inhale and exhale of the oxygen. Bronchi, pair of bronchi comes out from the trachea, which one bronchus going to the lung. Bronchioles, bronchus divide into branches and sub branches inside the lung. Alveoli, there are the air sac at the end of the bronchioles, and exchange of gases takes place between the alveolar surface and the surrounding blood vessels. Alveoli provide a large surface area for the exchange of gases. Now see the figure how the respiration takes place. This is nasal cavity, this is pharynx, larynx and bronch. These are the trachea which cover the gap between the inhale and exhale. Lungs, these are the 2 lungs, and in the bronchia, this is the bronchia, and these are the bronchioles further divided into this, and alveoli is the balloon like structures where the oxygen is filled, and diaphragm inhale, then upside it shrinks or it move upside, and when we relax it move down. So diaphragm helps in inhaling and exhaling, that is the help in process of respiration. So this is about the respiration, and there are few questions in the respiration then you can do. Now the next process is transportation in humans. Transportation in human is done by the circulatory system, which mainly consists of blood. Blood is the big source of transportation, and it contains some blood vessels, and the heart is the main organ. It is the responsible for supply of oxygen, nutrients and removal of carbon dioxide and other excretory products. Now let's see how heart function in our body. And what is heart? Heart is a muscular pumping organ which is located near the chest, slightly towards the left. So blood delivers oxygen, hormones, glucose and other components to the various parts of the body, And in human there are the 4 chambers in the heart: left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. These are the 4 chambers in the human beings. And what is the how it behave like a double circulation in the human heart? The blood circulates through the heart twice. Once it goes from heart during the pulmonary circulation and second during systematic circulation. Double circulation ensures complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is necessary for optimum energy production in the warm-blooded animals, and this circulation in the human being is called double circulation. So you can see how oxygenated deoxygenated blood is carried out. The oxygenated blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins goes to the left atrium, then bicuspid valve push it in the left ventricle, then aorta carry it to the whole body, and from the whole body pulmonary arteries carry it to the right atrium and then right ventricle, and after that vena cava attach these all to the lungs for purification. Deoxygenated blood goes to the lungs again and it purified again. So this process occurs in the heart, and there are the 3 blood vessels in the human heart. First is veins. Veins carries deoxygenated blood to the heart, and they are thin walled and have valves. And capillaries, they are thin, very thin tube like vessels making a network between arteries and veins. And what are the arteries? These are the muscular tube responsible for supplying oxygenated blood away from the heart to the other parts of the body, and they are thick walled and have no valves. There are no valve in between them. So sometimes the question is asked, differentiate between veins and arteries. So 2 points can be written there. Now we will see how transportation occurs in the plants. Plants are not also have the complex structure. Then how this transportation occurs as you have seen in the human beings. So in plants, for transportation there are the 2 things. One is 2 tissues are there. One is phloem, other is xylem. Phloem transports nutrients and sugar in all directions, upper or lower, like carbohydrates produced by the leaves to the other parts of the plants. And transport of food in the plant through the phloem is called translocation. And what is the xylem? Xylem transports water in the plants from roots to the other parts of the plant. So they coordinate with each other and the transportation in the plants occurs. Now the next process is excretion in human beings. Excretion means to remove the harmful waste from the body. That is called excretion. And metabolical activities in the body generate many kinds of the waste, like nitrogenous waste, which are harmful for the body, hence need to be removed. And in the excretory system in human includes a pair of kidneys. These are the 2 kidneys. A pair of ureters. This is ureter. Two ureters are there. Urinary bladder, bag-like structure, and urethra, exit point. Waste product is produced like urine, pass it out through the urethra. Now pair of ureter, what is the function of this pair of ureter? These are the set of the tubes which come out from each kidney and goes to the urinary bladder. And what is the function of urinary bladder? It is a bag-like structure, and in the bag-like structure urine is collected and expelled to the urethra. And what is the function of urethra? It produces urine as a waste product outside from the body. Now what is the kidney and what is its shape? Kidney is bean-shaped organ which lies near the vertebral column in the abdominal cavity. And the kidney is composed of many filtering units that are called nephron. Nephron is called functional unit of kidney, which purify the waste product in liquid form and remove it. Now let us see how nephron works. Nephron is composed of tube and a filtering part, that is a glomerulus. This is glomerulus, and you can see this is the different parts of the nephron, and these are glomerulus. You can see these are glomerulus. It is the different tubes, and it is a network of blood capillaries, as well as in which the renal artery is attached. Renal artery is attached here, and the glomerulus is enclosed in a capsule-like portion called brown capsule. This is called brown capsule here, and this extends into fine tube which is highly coiled, and the tubes from various nephrons coverage into collecting dirt. This portion is called collecting duct, which finally goes to the ureter, and then urine comes out from the ureter. So this is the function of nephron in the kidney, which is the functional unit of kidney. Now, how urine formation in the kidney taking place? The urine formation involves 3 steps. First is glomerular filtration, second is tubular absorption, and the third is secretion. Urine produced in the kidneys passes through the urethra into the urinary bladder, where it is stored and until it is released through the urethra. The purpose of making urine is to filter out waste product from the blood and the urea which is produced in the liver. Then what is the hemodialysis? The process of purifying blood by the artificial kidney. It is meant for the kidney failure patient, and this is called hemodialysis. So on the basis of this excretion process, there are the few questions then you can do in your notebooks. I hope all the processes are very clear to you. Hope everything is clear, and if any doubt then you can ask, and keep watching Super Vigyan. Thank you.